This year, 3 of New Zealand's top pipe bands are making the journey to Scotland to compete against the world's best, with a 4th band from St Andrew's College in Christchurch competing in the juvenile section. It's a journey that has been years in the making.
Almost there. The next couple of days really is getting the body clocks right, getting over the jet lag, and yeah, scheduled through the week where we basically having a blow, having a practice each day, mixing it up with sightseeing the Wallace Monument and Stirling Castle and the Edinburgh Tattoo.
We're going to leave St Andrew's College students as they head off to Stirling and follow the Canterbury Caledonian Society and the Manawatu Scottish Pipe Band as they settle into Glasgow. Still wide awake and with body clocks inverted, recent arrivals are on a mission to ensure a good night's sleep, and so it's down the road, through the park, across the street, and some much-needed R&R at the nearest local. During their 2-week stay in Scotland, it's going to be roughly 1 part socialising, 5 parts practising and performance, with a liberal dash of travel, shopping, and of course shut-eye. With exams now over, Glasgow University students are heading home for the summer, and vacant hostel accommodation is quickly being filled by arriving band members. For Kelly drummers Marcella and Kate, this is all familiar territory.
I'm excited to see the room.
While it's been a few years, both have stayed here before.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So renovated. They've renovated hard, I like it.
Yeah. We came first in 2018 with the St Andrew's College Pipe Band.
Yes.
Yeah, I did juvenile there. And then we came in 2019. That was our first trip with Canterbury. Shampoo and conditioner in one.
A wee bar soap number.
While the Kelly lasses share a laugh about lotions, a few blocks down, Seamus from the Manawatu Scottish is unpacking his own newfound sense of independence.
It's new being kind of not alone, but just working everything out solo.
While his mum and sister are also with the band, on this trip,
everyone's doing their own thing, so it's just a bit more, it's just a step up from where I've been before, so that's a new experience as well.
It's cool. It's a nervous chuckle.
Yeah.
The next few days will be a time of adjustment for both the players and their instruments.
I spent the last 2 days sleeping during the day, and that wasn't really helping my cause. But yeah, I'm starting to get in the time zone now. So,
unlike people, pipes and drums don't have to deal with jumbled circadian rhythms or rites of passage. But that said, they're still highly sensitive, and cargo holds and long-haul distance travel can take its toll. Everyone's instruments are carefully checked to ensure that both the pipes and the drums are honed and ready to deliver peak performance over the coming weeks.
By and large, the pipes travelled pretty well. I think I put in 2 new chanters yesterday. I'll put another one in this morning. I've got plenty of spares on the go, which is good. So yeah, we can start moving to that quite fine-tuning quite quickly.
The bagpipes can be temperamental, and both Seamus and his mother Mel are having adjustments made to their chanter reeds. New reeds can be extremely hard to blow, and one of the remedies is to shave off wee bits of cane with sandpaper to thin out the reed. Bringing harmony to the band isn't just about music. Sorting, timing and logistics will be critical in the run-up to the Worlds. And that means regular planning sessions with band leaders meeting most mornings to plan the day's practice regime and the schedule for the coming week.
Give the guys a little bit of slack. They're still getting over jet lag, still got time. I think we ramp up the intensity. Yeah. We don't want to be all hard ass on day 2.
Yeah, so we're 3 down today, so Willie and Callum are in Sky, and we've got Rob coming in tomorrow.
Yeah.
The great news for the Kiwi bands is they've arrived to fine weather. And so it really is about making hay while the sun shines, because in Scotland it's not going to last. For the Grade 1 bands, the coming week is going to be something of a rinse and repeat, with a wee bit of ironing thrown in. The rehearsals, parades and the competitions are pretty much non-stop, but with just 8 days until the World Championships, that's exactly what the Canterbury Caledonian Society want. Rehearsal time under Scottish conditions. For the band, that means more time to meld with its fly-in players, some who've only just arrived.
So we left Brisbane at 9 p.m, through to Dubai, a couple of hours in Dubai, and then on the plane straight to here and on the cab straight to here ready for practice.
Most of our top Kiwi bands use fly-in players. These are pipers and drummers who practice remotely and only play with the band in person for big events. While they're absolutely part of the band, they live in different cities or countries and rely on the internet to stay connected.
This is my 10th year essentially playing in some form with the Kellys at least once a year. Third trip to the World Championships with the band as well. So, it gets slightly easier the more time you're with the group, getting used to sort of style, if you like, issues and hopefully developing some form of credibility in the fact that you can get it done for them.
The expectation is that the individual pipers would be at a certain level that they, are pretty capable. So most of them would know those tunes anyway. It's just a matter of adjusting some technical changes that have been made for the score and then adapting to the style.
For the Caledonian Society, using fly-in players is a practical decision. Pipe Major Jamie Hawke and several other Canterbury performers now live in Brisbane, and rather than sever ties, the decision was made that Jamie should commute.
Yeah, I'm based in Brisbane at the moment, so I fly back to Christchurch once a month for a weekend practice. I'll give recordings in terms of the master way that I would like the tunes to be played, and then everyone sort of sends recordings to me as well, just to make sure we are in tune and all on the same page when we do come together.
Bringing it all together in Scotland is the ultimate reality check. Everyone in the same place at the same time. And so for the Kiwi players, any opportunity to perform under pressure before the Worlds is actually a bonus.
For me, it's about making sure that we do all the preparation work, so technique, expression, getting that foundation of sound in place, and then towards the end of the week starting to get into performance mode so we're actually ready to play in a competition. So at the moment we're not. We need another good 2 or 3 days of hard mahi.
So from here, make sure you dry your pipes out. There's quite a bit of moisture around. Get some rest, make sure you rehydrate. And don't mind if you want to go for a couple of quiet beers tonight. That's all good. Just keep it, keep it laid back. Don't overdo it.
On your marks, get set, go, because we are racing towards the freshest new music in the country here on Introducing in Scotland. I'm Phoebe IH.
And I'm shooting Cup Kelvin.
Had a couple of beers at the tennis club, and then all of us went to bed at about 8 last night, including myself. Yeah, it's just zonked, but getting a bit of refueling in now. Some bit of protein to get us through the day.
A hearty Scottish breakfast of haggis, black pudding, bacon and eggs to enhance stamina.
It is definitely tiring, especially in the afternoon. We're in the sun. If you can't tell, everyone's a little red today. So especially I think Martin got the worst of it, but definitely you feel it at the end of the day and you sort of hit 5 p.m. and you're ready for bed. And but yeah, it's just if you eat well and sort of hydrate and go to bed and look after yourself, then it's manageable. But it's like playing a sport, really. So.
Oh no! Oh, I've had a bit of disaster here. Yeah. Jamie Oliver will be proud. Yeah.
While the lads digest and luxuriate in their protein fix, a few of the band's, slightly more enthusiastic members are considering the consequences of the morning after the night before.
She had a coconut cream intolerance incident last night.
No, we went out for curry
and yeah, walked through the botanical gardens. I touched a squirrel.
Oh, yes.
We tried to give it some naan, but it didn't like naan.
Practice hard and party hard.
Week one is good. I mean, we arrived, people are still getting over a bit of jet lag, but as the week's gone on, progressively got better. Had our first full band practice yesterday, and it was good. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better start to the trip.
What do you think about Kiwis trying to beat the Scottish? Well, they can try. A somewhat dismissive chuckle from a local punter, but then it's a bit like asking a Kiwi rugby supporter whether they expect Scotland to beat the All Blacks at Eden Park. As part of their warm-up for the Worlds, the Kiwi bands are off to their first competition, which is at North Berwick.
If we can double check the schedule timing, because I guess there's a discrepancy between the RSPBA and the Lothian Borders branch one, so we just need to sort that out.
3 of our Kiwi bands are competing there today with St Andrews College starting off first. Then it'll be Canterbury, Caledonian, then Manawatu Scottish. So most bands should be en route to the competition by now. North Berwick is a beautiful contest, and it's designed for all punters with lots of food and Highland dancing and Highland games, all those sorts of bits and bobs. So it's a pretty full-on day, but we kind of keep together in our pipe band competition area of it all.
And if you're not sure where the bagpipe competition area is, well, just follow the sound. 20 plus bands warming up makes for a riotous mix of kilt colour and music. For the Kiwis, it's a busy 48 hours. The North Berwick competition is followed the day after by another smaller event in the city of Perth. These regional competitions provide the New Zealand bands an opportunity to assess their performance against the Scottish and other international bands ahead of the World Championships. Doing well would be nice, but this is more of a shakedown to sort out strengths and weaknesses and to consider what the judges have to say.
Band number 5 of your programme is the Canterbury Caledonia Society, and this band hails from Christchurch in New Zealand.
Sport is points on the board, right? So, you know that the All Blacks are going to win because they're winning 43 or 41-12 against Argentina. But for us, the judging is very subjective. So it entirely depends on who is judging, who has been chosen to choose to judge on the day.
Led by Jamie Hawkpipe Major and wearing the royal
and also what they as a person prefer in a musical performance. So some judges will prefer a particular sound, and other judges will prefer a particular way of playing, and so it's very, very subjective as to who they're going to like and who they're going to put in that top 6 on the day.
I'm a bagpiping judge, so I judge the piping part of it all. They have drumming judges and ensemble judges, but I do piping specifically. And at that level, in the grade 1, it's really down to very much the finer things. You're listening for how the band's, their introduction, the interpretation of the tunes, intonation, interpretation. But really at that level, at the grade 1 level, it's entertainment. To have got to where they are, they're usually really, really good anyway. And they usually have the sound pretty well nailed, and it's just that X factor that really separates the really top bands.
In search of his own X factor, Brian's grandson Nicholas has the good fortune to learn from one of New Zealand's best. With an international reputation for excellence, Brian Switala is the only New Zealander who's been invited to judge the Grade 1 finals at this year's World Championships.
Ancient Hunting Fraser, the People's Sport, Bob Hall and Backgate, Caledonia, Pipe Band.
How do you define an X factor? It's not like rugby where you get a certain number of goals.
Well, in some ways it is. Excitement, colour, passion, you know, just all those things added up. It just makes that experience just something different. And, you know, seriously, at the top end, it comes down to those small things which are the differentiators.
Boghall and Bathgate, who've just finished playing, are among the bands to beat at the World Championships. Simon Fraser University, Shotts and Dykehead, Inverary and District, Field Marshal Montgomery. These are some of the big names jostling for pole position. If you're not into piping, the names may mean nothing at all, but for our Kiwi bands, they set the standard to beat. A last-minute tuning check for Stella playing with Manawatu in her first Grade 1 competition, and then
Approaching ring number 2.
they're off.
Band number 10 today, and the final band on our Grade 1 and 2 March Strathspey Reel competition. Hailing from Palmerston, North in New
At that
Zealand.
level, one mistake presumably is it, because if you're that good, the best is defined by those who don't make errors.
Yeah, quite right. But when you listen to a band, and having been played in bands myself, you know the amount of work that goes into it, and just hours and hours and hours. Sometimes a mistake might not put you out. If your music is that good, a mistake is, sometimes you'll have 40 to 45 musicians out there. If somebody misses half a grace note, but there's some real magic there, I guess the adjudicator has to weigh that up. And there's a few of us out there, so everyone gets to hear it a different way.
And the Manawatu Scottish Pipe Band, not really from New Zealand.
It's by far the best we've played at North Berwick. Okay, so it felt really good. I thought the front half was fantastic. King's Hand was beautiful. A couple of wee issues as we went on. I just thought a little bit, but it never lost its shape, never lost its tone, never lost the ensemble integration. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a fantastic start to our Worlds campaign. I don't care what the results are. The results will be what they are. But I think we can be very satisfied and just, you know, just enjoy the moment. We had 2 on their very first performances in the band, so Stella, fantastic effort.
Celebration for some, consolation for others.
Like a lot of pressure goes into like this type of environment, and everybody does pressure differently, and I'm just one of those people that probably puts a little bit too much on myself for something like this. It's just something I really enjoy, and like it's such an awesome family to be a part of.
What's the point of it all? Why?
You often hear the word family used to describe the camaraderie found in pipe bands. The connections formed during competition can last a lifetime. While neither the Manawatu Scottish or the Canterbury Caledonian pipe bands took out honours, they were both pleased with their performances.
It's been 5 years since I played, so there we go.
I think it was 5th in drumming, I think that's what they're saying. Don't quote me on that.
St Andrews College got a shout out for winning the drumming for the juvenile grade. A nice accolade for the band and drum sergeant Georgia Eagle.
Yeah, so it was kind of, because we couldn't really hear the announcers, so we sort of double-taked if it was actually us winning the drumming prize. And so it took us a moment to realise that it was us, and everyone was starting looking around on who's going to go up. So yeah, we went up and we got the drumming prize, but it was quite incredible, yeah.
And if you're wondering about the Auckland and District Pipe Band, well, they're currently overseas playing at the Lorient Festival in France, and they won't arrive in Scotland for several more days. For those competing at North Berwick, the focus now turns to the judging notes. In the past, Manawatu has struggled to make an impact at North Berwick.
That's the Grade 2 and Grade 1 MS hold still.
But this year's results are more encouraging, with both Manawatu and the Canterbury Caledonian Society neck and neck.
Yes, we beat them in one event and they got past us in the other event. So, and we were actually tied on points with them overall. So it was very, very tight.
Time to relax on the trip back to Glasgow. A song, maybe a wee dram, and a brief pause to enjoy the journey. Tomorrow's another day and another competition. Instruments loaded and players on board, the Kiwis are on their way to the Perth Highland Games and the next competition. It's about an hour's drive northeast of Glasgow and another great opportunity for the bands to rehearse their performances.
Yeah, we turn up and do our March Strathspey and Reel and a medley event, quite separate events, but the March Strathspey and Reel's quite traditional, and there's a wee bit more freedom that happens in the medley events with harmonies and orchestrations and stuff like that. So we're reasonably happy yesterday with both events and looking forward to doing the same again today.
Jamie's brother Harry is band manager and keeping a close eye on the weather forecast. Rain is an ever-present threat.
Yeah, I guess probably the key thing is just to ensure that we stay dry and keep the pipes dry. Is one of the main things, so timing our run for getting off the bus and actually getting the pipes out and starting to warm them up, but then balancing that with actually just trying to stay dry. Drums and bagpipes don't really like getting wet, so yeah, just provides a bit of a challenge around trying to work out and time the run into everything.
In typical Scottish fashion, the band arrives in Perth to sunshine, followed by rain, followed by sunshine, followed by more rain. Piping in Scotland requires a stoic disposition, and when the rain did come, it showered magnificently on both the Caledonian Society and St Andrew's College performers.
It just rained quite a lot, that's all. We weren't prepared for that, I don't think.
While the pipes have performed admirably under Scottish skies for centuries, too much moisture can be detrimental to both the sound and the instrument. Wood swells, reeds need drying, and any associated temperature change can wreak havoc with tuning.
Yeah, drums sound good? Yeah, quite.
Oh, there wasn't anything wild. There was a bit of movement, but I don't know if it's blowing or not, but yeah.
For Richard Hawke and Graham Bryce, it's a busy day. They've only just finished mentoring the St Andrews Band in their performance. Now it's a kilt change, a tune-up, as they prepare for their role as senior pipers with the Canterbury Caledonian Pipe Band.
Scotland and the UK, Northern Hemisphere, there's pipe band competitions happening every 2-3 weeks. Before we get to the World Championships, there will have been another 3 major championships amongst most of the top bands. The Canadian bands don't tend to go to those earlier ones, but the Worlds tends to be a little bit of a climax to the season where a lot of the bands are working towards that big event, and we have to build ourselves up to a very high level in Scotland within a very short period of time. That's why we travel over a little bit earlier as a group, to give us that opportunity to get out there, play in front of the judges, put a little bit of pressure on, get everybody in the best possible mindset.
Yeah, the standard of bands is, in general, really high now, and particularly bands from Australia and New Zealand and Canada and the Canadian bands and that, So it's nice to see Scotland might be a wee place, but if you think of it globally, there's a lot of bagpipe players in the world.
And drummers.
And drummers, yeah. So it's great.
As the rain relents and the crowds gather to hear the next band play, the Manawatu Scottish have found their own performance sweet spot. The Scottish judges are impressed, and once the points have been tallied, the Kiwis reap their reward. Winners of the Grade 1 medley competition and runners-up for the title of Best Overall Band. The win will be a major boost for the Mighty Two, who will march into the Worlds with a renewed sense of confidence.
Winner of the medley and second overall. A couple of great results which resulted in some trophies, which is pretty cool. Our fearless leader is off getting the sheets before we have a photo and get on the bus and go home and have a few drinks. Yes.
There's none so fair that can compare to the boys of the Manawatu.
That's boys and girls of Manawatu.
Yep. Nice way to end the day.
To walk away with the medley today and second overall against four really good bands, three other really good bands, I'm absolutely delighted. So, yeah, we played well. I mean, it wasn't perfect. We had little things happen, but you take it when you get it, you know. And in terms of setting us up for next week, I'm absolutely delighted. So, it's been a great weekend. You know, it's been difficult. The weather's been trying, but hey, the team came through it in flying colours. So I'm stoked.
This is an emotional moment.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is.
It's been a long
emotional.
journey.
Yeah,
it's good. To the pub.
I think we're gonna have to celebrate tonight, and we'll have tomorrow off. I think it's
Everybody take tomorrow off.
Four days until the World Championships, and the Auckland and District Pipe Band has arrived in Glasgow. They've been in France for the past week.
I've never been overseas to a country that doesn't speak English as their first language, so there was the definite language barrier. We had a few phrases that we all knew. Parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît? Can you speak English, please? That got us through, but...
The band's been playing at the Lorient Festival in Brittany, a celebration of Celtic music and dance.
No, it was really good. So it was completely different. It was like a tattoo sort of situation. So every night we did a tattoo from about 11:30 till roughly about 1 o'clock. And it was all the bands. So there's the Spanish bands, there was the Bagard French bands, Irish bands, the Scottish band. They had all sorts going on. There was everything. It was very cool. And then a little praise that we did throughout the days. So it was a good way to get out and have people enjoy our music in a different light. So it's usually quite sterile in a circle and judged, and it's very competitive, but it's nice just to play music for the enjoyment of ourselves and for the listeners, and it was good.
And playing for enjoyment is exactly what Auckland and District are preparing to do in Glasgow today. They'll be joining a rotation of different bands playing on Buchanan Street in the heart of the city. It's A&D's first Scottish outing, and with a brand new set of drums. Their old cases are back in New Zealand, hence the cardboard boxes. But then it's not about the look, it's about the sound and making a splash on Buchanan Street.
I like the way Buchanan Street becomes a sort of mecca for the pipers during the competition. You get the guys who go down there, and there's always somebody that pipes the drums right, not just one. You know, you're walking down the whole street, you'll have a wee crew up at the top, you'll have a wee group of them round about the middle, all the way down, and it's just amazing. You see the young kids, you know, wee kids walking up and down the street that are totally and utterly just gobsmacked when they see these, you know, they hear the pipes.
There is a huge amount of tourism and public that come into these sorts of events. And so you'll experience coming down Buchanan Street, George Square, the centre of town here in Glasgow, that there is a swarm of people that surround bands, and we don't get that normally in New Zealand. We don't get that focused appreciation for what we're doing.
Come out today and we found the Canadian band performing up by the cathedral, and then to come back into town here to see the City of Edinburgh band playing down there. And then a friend of ours rang to say that the Canterbury band was going to be playing up here. So we hightailed it up here, and it's just been fantastic. Absolutely loved it.
Obviously, you come to Scotland, you expect to hear bagpipes, but there is a real treat in having all these international bands on force coming down the street, and people just swarm in. You've got the acoustics of these massive, old, beautiful buildings, which echo the music you're playing, and it just feels awesome as you're heading down the street. It is a side to what we're all here for, which is the World Champs, but we're also here to showcase what it is that we do. Our bands will be playing different sets of music that they wouldn't be playing at the World, so we get to showcase some of that. And it's just a way to feel like what you're doing matters to the general public, and it's a real good boost, certainly for our people that haven't played here before. Just that sheer size of audience is pretty impressive.
Oh, they were wonderful, absolutely beautiful. It was lovely to see. New Zealand. I just booked into my hotel just there, and I went, is it Manawatu or RNZ? Quick, hurry up, let me in the room, I've got to go and see this band. Got a tear in my eye. Send the Scottish blood up.
As Auckland and District send temperatures rising, entertaining the crowds in Buchanan Street, the St Andrews College Pipe Band is preparing for a performance of a more spiritual nature.
Just go and take your suitcases nice and tidily over by the van. And a couple of boys might need to help the driver pack the van, please.
We'll be travelling to St Andrews, having a day trip to St Andrews where the band actually go and play at the old cathedral relics at St Andrews.